Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you're all having a great week of training. Today's topic, I wanted to go over how to break a 2:55 marathon. And first, kudos to you if you're trying to run a 2:54:59, because that is an elite time in my opinion. Anything really under 3 hours, you have got to be in phenomenal shape. Again, a sub 3 hour marathon comes out to 6:52 per mile or 4:16 per kilometer. If you're wanting to run a 2:54:59, you need to be able to run 6:40 per mile or 4:08 per kilometer. So what I want to suggest in this video is just some of the things that I would personally be thinking about if I was the one that was trying to run a 2:54:59. And I hope that these tips will dramatically impact your preparation. It will help you start thinking about the concepts and variables that you really need to be thinking about to run that type of time. The first thing I would focus on is legit 16-week block of training. I think a lot of athletes try to rush the process and they think that they can run a quality marathon in 8 weeks. And yes, it is possible to still get in very good shape in a matter of 8 weeks. But if you want to run a time like this, you got to think long term. And 16 weeks is preferably the best, between 16 and 20 weeks of training. So if it was me, I would be focusing on a minimum of 16 weeks and even focus on a 4-week block of just base building before I worked into a 16-week block of training. Because again, you don't want to just jump into marathon training immediately. We all know you're not gonna, it's gonna play on your psyche, it's gonna play on you mentally, in the fact that you're not gonna be able to turn over, you're not gonna be able to hit the splits that you want immediately unless you first focus on building that foundational mileage. And during the base phase, don't focus on what pace you're running per mile or per kilometer. Okay, if it was me, I would just be jogging for 4 straight weeks, consistently at a minimum between 5 and 6 days a week. And again, everybody's schedule is different. I've worked full-time jobs over the years, and I've trained professionally. I had the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do that with the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program. So I've lived the life of a professional athlete, but I've also understood what it takes to juggle going to grad school, working a full-time job, and still putting in 100+ miles a week. So you have to balance that. You have to balance what you're doing. Okay, so minimum, like I said, first thing I would be focusing on 4 weeks of base mileage, running strides, 5 to 6 100-meter strides twice per week during that 4 weeks of buildup. Okay, so again, you're working on your acceleration drills, but again, because the strides are too short, you're not going to build up any significant lactic acid, so you can still focus on your speed development, your form, your acceleration drills during that base phase for the first 4 weeks of base mileage. And then I would start focusing on 16 weeks of specific training. When I would, in terms of, if it was me going for a sub 2:55, I would start doing my tempo runs the first 3 to 4 weeks of that 16-week buildup at around 3 to 4 miles in length, and then I would focus on moving the duration of that tempo run. After the 4th week, I would start focusing on doing the tempo runs 6 miles in length, and do that for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, my end goal would be to get that tempo run training at the anaerobic threshold. Again, you're going to be racing your marathon at the anaerobic threshold. It's the point where lactic acid starts to build up in the bloodstream as you're racing, and you want to train to a longer period of time at that particular heart rate. It's right around 88 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. So it's not fun, especially in the early stages of your training when you're not very anaerobically fit. But be patient with yourself. Your body always will adapt. You cannot rush the process, especially trying to go after a time this fast. So that's another thing I would most certainly be focused on going under, working toward a sub 2:55 marathon, is patience. The best middle to long distance runners, the best sprinters, they know the importance of not rushing the process, knowing that the body will adapt, but not trying to get the results quickly. Okay, it's nice to have that idea that, hey, I'm going to go out and run a 2:55 marathon my first time out. It doesn't always work that way. Okay, so maybe you might need 1 or 2 or 3 or more iterations of a buildup before you get to a point where you can hold that 640 per mile or 408 per kilometer for 26.2 miles or 42.2 kilometers. It's an extremely tough time. And you know, I only ran sub 255 about 8 or 9 of my marathons, but none of it's not easy regardless how fit I was. You know, even when I was at my fittest, when I ran 219, I would have still had to have run, you know, a very even paced, and I would have had to stay focused to run a 254 even when I was in 219 marathon shape. So hats off to all of you that are trying to go after this. But those are some of the things I would most certainly be thinking about. Minimum 4-week buildup of easy, relaxed jogging. Again, you don't need to be focused on how many miles or what pace per mile or pace per kilometer you're running during that first 4 weeks of base mileage. Then start working on 16 weeks of your buildup. You want to go into the first 3 to 4 weeks. I would be focusing on just introduction type workouts. The types of workouts I would be doing 5 to 6 1-mile repetitions on the track at about 85% of my maximum time for the mile. So my best time for the mile is 4 minutes and 22 seconds for those 1,609 meters. So I would start my mile repeats. If I was going for a time like this, for me personally, I would go try to aim around 85% of that time. So for me, it'd be around 5:05. Now, granted, you're trying to run 640 mile pace, so you start off 85% of your personal best for your best mile time. Okay, so it might be starting off at, say, 620 per mile, or maybe like around 555 per mile. So everybody's different. Anybody that's trying to run 254, 59, yes, you're going to have to get well accustomed to running well below 6-minute mile pace. So your mile repeats might be in the 540s, 550s, 6.0s, you know, so you can get to a point where, again, you get that 640 mile pace to feel more like a tempo run rather than a sprint. So I hope that makes sense. I would do a 10-day taper. Okay, this is how I trained all through the years from 1992 pretty much until 2018 when I retired from the sport of running. I still jog and run for fitness now, but throughout all of those years of training, I would always focus on a 10-day taper. So if you haven't done that in the past and you're trying to run a 255, I recommend doing a 10-day taper rather than starting to drop your volume and your intensity 3 weeks out from your main marathon. The reason being is 10 days is plenty of time for your body to fully recover from the hard anaerobic workouts you've done the past 16 weeks or 20 weeks leading into your sub 255 marathon attempt. A lot of athletes, they start dropping their volume and their intensity 3 weeks out from their marathon, and then they feel like they're tired and lethargic, you know, leading into the marathon. You know, you want to go into your marathon feeling refreshed, motivated, aggressive, you know, excited about the race, and not feel like, man, I started dropping my volume 3 weeks out, my intensity, I should be, you know, I started resting, I should feel phenomenal. A lot of athletes don't always feel that way when they do a 3-week taper. So if it was me, I would do a 10-day taper. So start considering that. Also, I would do a 3-mile, the last workout I would do leading into a sub 255 marathon attempt would be 4 days out from the marathon. I would do a 1-mile warm-up, 3 miles at 640 mile pace. That's, again, 254, 59 marathon pace. I would do that with a 1-mile cool down and then just shut it down for the day. The next 3 days after that would be either jogging or the day off. Stretching, hydrating well, getting plenty of sleep. Those are the types of things you want to do, because that last workout 4 days out from your main marathon, that's your last attempt. It's your last reminder to your legs of what you're training them to do. So again, one last burst of, you know, one last anaerobic effort, just a reminder, will prepare you properly, just to remind your legs of what you're wanting them to do going into your marathon. I would definitely focus on mental rehearsal. Now, a lot of athletes have already reached out to me and stated that putting that into their training has dramatically helped them. I've seen a lot of athletes leaving comments here on the videos that they got huge PRs because they implemented that particular strategy into their race preparation. A lot of athletes focus on just physical training. I'm going to say it again. If you want to be great in the sport, you have to focus on both mental and physical training. If you want to take your running to the next level in 2022 and into the future, you cannot just do 50% of the work. You're wanting to be a phenomenal athlete, a great athlete. A lot of average and good athletes might kind of, spend a little bit of time doing this. The great athletes demand excellence out of themselves. They're the ones that do not skip on this. They spend 15 to 20 minutes each day, anywhere from 10 minutes to 20 minutes each day, shutting off all devices. Maybe it's right before they get up in the morning, or maybe right before they go to bed at night. That's what I did. I would just focus on seeing myself get across the finish line in the goal that I had for myself, and that was to run 2:21:59. Back in 2007, it was a USA Track and Field Olympic Trials B standard time. I went on to achieve the Olympic Trials A standard time of 2 hours, 20 minutes flat, running 2:19:35. So I cannot stress this enough. I mean, Billy Mills, the last American to win the 10,000 meter gold medal, said it best. He said, the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between reality or imagination. And that is very, very powerful. You have to train the subconscious mind to guide you into what you want to do. So speed workouts, definitely focus on that. Repeat 800s, repeat Ks at closer to your mile to 3K race pace. Repeat miles on the track, like I said before, at around 3K to 5K race pace. Repeat 2 miles on the track. Running at anywhere from 5K to 10K race pace effort. When I was building up for my marathons, I would work toward 3 2-mile repetitions on the track. 1 tempo run per week, 1 speed workout, VO2 max workout, where you're running at maximum heart rate or close to it, 1 long run per week. The last tip I would share with you is, if I was going for a sub 255, without a doubt, I would not run slow for my long runs every single weekend. I would alternate. This is the same strategy that helped me go from 2:43:36 to 2:19:35 for the marathon. I've seen other athletes drop over an hour off their marathon time using the same exact strategy. I've had a lot of athletes already reach out to me stating they got huge PRs. I had a guy just recently that was been following the videos, and who had a PR of 3:46 for the marathon. Just recently ran a 2:58. Kudos to him, and kudos to all the athletes out there that are putting in the work, regardless if you're trying to run a 5-hour marathon, a sub 3-hour marathon, a sub 4, or a sub 255. You have to stress the body's energy systems sufficiently. So I would start off, if it was me, again, you don't start off super long runs, super far for your long runs. Initially, it might be, if it was me, I would start off anywhere from a long run might be in the first couple weeks, 7 to 8 miles, and then I would lengthen it out to around 20 to 24 miles in length. But then as you get fitter, you want to spend a longer percentage of those faster pace long runs at paces that are much faster than goal marathon race pace. So you want to spend some time running 6:20s during that long run, 6:10s, 5:50s, a mixture of different paces during those long runs. And then the following week, make sure you jog. Again, you want to recover from the hard training you're doing. So again, you got to be meticulous about what you're doing to run this fast. Again, the faster you're trying to race for this particular distance, the more specific you have to train, the more strategic you have to be in your preparation, and the more you need to pay attention to all the other fundamentals that go into running a great marathon time. Proper sleep, proper hydration, mental rehearsal, positive affirmations, listening to the right information, positive podcasts, watching these videos, investing in yourself. Get a running course I've created, get a training plan. There are resources, there are free resources here on the channel that you can watch. There are other investments if you want to take your personal development to the next level in your racing, then you have to do that sometimes. I've spent thousands of dollars on training courses myself, on coaching, on consultation calls. All of that helped me get to run 2:19:35. It's a mixture of all. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. There are resources below all of my videos. Like and share these videos, definitely. I really appreciate that. It helps the channel grow and more athletes and non-athletes around the world to see these videos. And definitely check the resources on RunDreamAchieve. I got a new merch store now on the website. We got some great designs. So if you're a runner and you want to represent your love of the sport, definitely check out our merch store. And if there's any other questions about running under 2:55, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know also where you're currently at for the marathon. What's your goal? So I hope you continue to progress in 2022. Hope this video was helpful for you, and I'll talk to you in the next one.